Hi, it's Reggie. Welcome back to Moonlight and Moments. Tonight's episode is a little different, not just because it's Halloween, but because it's the last chapter in our Self Love Fear series, a series we've been quietly unfolding all month long. Each story in this series has been a lantern in the dark, helping us gently name the quiet, often invisible fears that rise when we begin to truly love ourselves. We've walked through the fear of taking up space, the fear of not being enough, the fear of starting, and now the final, perhaps most haunting one of all, the fear that self love makes us selfish. This fear doesn't always shout, it doesn't always look like resistance. Sometimes it looks like guilt when you rest, or anxiety when you say no, or shame when you choose something just for you. Sometimes it sounds like a voice, maybe even your own, whispering, "Who do you think you are?" Taking that time, asking for that help, claiming that joy. But what if that voice isn't truth? What if it's just an echo from a lifetime of giving and giving and giving until you forgot what it felt like to receive? What if the part of you that wants to choose yourself isn't selfish at all? What if it's sacred? Tonight's story is a hunting, but not the kind with ghosts or ghouls. It's the kind many of us live inside every day, when our own inner world punishes us for trying to come home to ourselves. This is a story about guilt, legacy, and liberation, about the house that fed on one woman's silence, and what happened when she finally said, "No more." So take a breath and let's begin. The house on Crescent Lane was quiet now. All the doors were closed, the tea had long gone cold, and the windows had that foggy breath they got when the air inside held too much memory. Hallow stood in the hallway, one hand on the banister. She hadn't come down the stairs yet, not fully. She always paused like this, at the top of the stairs, as if crossing into the day required permission she still wasn't sure she had. The house had been hers for 12 months now. Her mother passed on Halloween night last year, like she waited for the veil to thin. The kind of woman who'd say, "I'll go when the world is soft enough to forgive me." But Hallow had never asked for forgiveness. She hadn't even asked for the house. It had simply become hers. Old, tall, too many rooms, too many walls that listened, every piece of furniture a relic, every hallway echoing something she never said aloud. She'd spent most of her life in this house caring for someone. Her father first, then her sister, then her mother. She had become a woman who knew how to make tea before being asked, who answered the phone before it rang, who disappeared into everyone else's needs so thoroughly she couldn't even remember what she used to love. And now she was alone. The quiet should have felt like peace. But instead, it felt like something was watching. It started slowly. Whenever Hollow would sit down with a book, just for herself, the lamp beside her would flicker. When she lit a candle for her own comfort, the flame would sputter out. And one night, as she tucked the blanket around her own shoulders, instead of draping it over a memory, she swore she heard the floorboards whisper, "Selfish." At first, she thought she was tired. Grief does strange things, makes the air heavier, bends the light. But soon it became undeniable. The house didn't want her to rest. When she tried to sleep in, the old grandfather clock in the hall, the one that hadn't ticked in years, would suddenly strike 6. Loud, jarring, and always exactly when she decided to stay in bed. When she prepared a warm meal just for herself, she'd find the spice rack rearranged, cinnamon beside the salt, basil in the sugar jar, as if something or someone was mocking the sweetness she tried to give herself. And sometimes, just as she passed the old mirror in the guest room, she'd catch a glimpse of her mother behind her. Not the mother of her final days, but younger, watching her, judging her, waiting for her to offer herself up again. The house had always required something, and Hallow had always given it. But now, every gesture of care she turned inward sparked resistance. She wrote a list one morning, things I like. The pen went dry after the third word. She tried again with a new pen. It burst ink across her wrist like a wound. The haunting wasn't in the walls. It was in the inheritance. The lineage of women who called exhaustion love, who wore martyrdom like a second skin, who whispered, better tired than selfish. On the 31st night of October, Hallow decided to light the fireplace. She'd never done it just for herself. It felt indulgent, but the cold had crept into her bones, and for once, she wanted to feel warm without earning it. She knelt, lit the match, held it to the kindling. The flame caught, and then the lights cut out. All of them. The house groaned, the clock ticked, and from upstairs, she heard a slow dragging sound, like footsteps, but not made of feet, made of memory. She stood, backed away from the hearth. The flame still burned, a single golden eye in the dim room. Then she heard it again, a voice, barely audible, breathing the word, ungrateful. She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she followed the sound, up the stairs, down the hallway, past rooms filled with furniture, covered in sheets like shrouds. At the end of the corridor was a door she had never opened. It had no key, but her hand knew how to turn the knob anyway. Inside, not dust, not decay, but her childhood. Sketches she made and never showed. A costume she'd wanted to wear one Halloween but was told was too much. A notebook filled with dreams that stopped halfway through the page. It was all here, preserved, as if the house had saved it only to keep it from her. She turned toward the mirror in the far corner. It was cracked, but behind the cracks, she saw herself. Smiling, alive, unafraid. She touched the glass, and for the first time, the house did not protest. She left the room with one item. A small velvet ribbon she once tied in her hair. A child's crown. Forgotten. She wore it the next morning, made herself tea. Didn't wait for the lights to flicker. They didn't. The house remained still, watching. But for the first time, it wasn't feeding on her. It was listening. And maybe, just maybe, it would learn to love her too. There's a particular kind of hunting that doesn't need ghosts. No creaking doors, no cold spots. Just a feeling, a quiet, persistent guilt that rises every time you try to care for yourself. You light a candle and your chest tightens. You turn down an invitation and your stomach sinks. You rest and suddenly your mind fills with all the things you should be doing for someone else. That's the hunting we carry. The fear that self-love means we've abandoned someone else in the process. Hallow's story is unsettling not just because of what moves through her house, but because of how deeply familiar it feels. She doesn't run from a monster. She doesn't fight an external villain. She simply tries to do something kind for herself, and the world around her seems to reject it. That's what so many of us face every day. Not in haunted houses, but in quiet moments of resistance. When we try to rest and suddenly remember every task we didn't finish. When we say no and feel like we've failed someone we love. When we choose ourselves and feel afraid of who we'll become if we keep doing it. The idea that self-love is selfish doesn't come from nowhere. It's woven into the world we were raised in, into how we were praised when we were helpful, and how we were scolded when we needed too much. Into the way certain people, especially women, especially caregivers, are told that their worth comes from being for others. We're not hunted by ghosts. We're hunted by conditioning, and that conditioning teaches us that sacrifice is holy, that silence is strength, that being exhausted means you're doing it right, that being selfless means you're good. But here's the quiet truth hiding under all that noise. You can love others and still choose yourself. You can rest without betraying anyone. You can nourish your own life without draining theirs. You can say, "This is what I need," and still be kind and generous and loving. In fact, you become more of all those things when you do. Because what the fear of selfishness never tells you is this: when you deny your self-care, you start giving from a place of depletion. And love given from depletion becomes obligation. It becomes bitter, resentful, empty. But when you fill your own cup, not in grand dramatic ways but in quiet sacred ones, your love becomes whole again. It becomes choice, not duty. Presence, not performance. Freedom, not fear. So if there's a voice inside you whispering, "You're selfish," when you try to care for yourself, pause. Breathe. Ask it, who taught you that? Whose story are you carrying? Because that voice may not be yours. It may be your mother's, or your grandmother's, or a teacher, a church, a culture that glorified burnout and demonized rest. It may be old pain pretending to be truth. But the real truth is, self-love is not betrayal. It's not a rebellion. It's not even a luxury. It's a return to the center of who you are, to the body that holds you, to the soul that knows what it needs, to the fire inside that never asks for permission. Self-love doesn't make you selfish. It makes you sacred. It makes you human. And there is nothing shameful about that. Most of us wouldn't say out loud, "I believe taking care of myself is wrong." But if you look closely at how you move through your days, you might notice the belief hiding there. It shows up when you feel a wave of guilt after asking for help. When you cancel plans to rest, but then spend the whole night worried someone's upset with you. When you buy something small that brings you joy and instantly feel like you have to deserve it. It shows up in how you hesitate to speak up, in how you apologize for needing space, in how you put off the things that feed your spirit, not because they're unimportant, but because you've absorbed the idea that your joy should come last. This fear, the fear of being selfish, doesn't always shout. It whispers. It rationalizes. It says things like, "They need me more than I need rest. It's not a big deal. I'll be fine. I don't want to be that person who makes everything about them. I should just be grateful. Other people have it harder." These thoughts sound noble, generous, kind, and sometimes they are. But when they become constant, unquestioned, and automatic, they stop being compassion and start becoming self abandonment. Because here's the truth, most of us were never taught what healthy self love looks like. We were taught how to give, how to anticipate needs, how to say yes. We weren't taught how to check in with ourselves, how to say, I can't do that right now, how to let someone else take the lead, how to be held instead of always doing the holding. And when we do try, even a little, we often bump into internal resistance. Not because we're doing something wrong, but because we're doing something new. Something our nervous systems, our family systems, and maybe even our communities aren't used to. It's like driving a familiar road and suddenly turning in a direction you've never taken before. The wheel feels stiff. The GPS recalculates. You wonder if you're lost. But you're not lost. You're just leaving the old story. And that story might have looked like this: always being the strong one, always being the peacemaker, always doing what's expected even when it hurts, always being the one who bends. So when you begin to unbend, when you stretch into your own needs, desires, and boundaries, it can feel unnatural, unsettling, even scary. Because you're not just making new choices, you're disrupting a pattern. And often, those patterns are deeply connected to how we survived, how we found belonging, or how we made sense of love. That's why self love can feel so much bigger than just a bath or a journal prompt. It can feel like a confrontation, a grief, a letting go. In real life, this might look like telling your family you won't be coming home for every holiday this year, letting a friend down gently because your body's asking for stillness, saying yes to something that lights you up, even if no one else understands it, spending money on something that brings you joy without justifying it, sitting in silence without doing anything productive, and letting that be enough. And yes, at first it might feel wrong. You might hear echoes of guilt in your chest. You might imagine people judging you. You might even judge yourself. But the more you keep choosing yourself with gentleness, with clarity, and with love, the quieter that fear becomes. Not because it disappears entirely, but because you've stopped feeding it. And you've started feeding yourself instead. Let's begin softly. If you've been taught, in loud ways or quiet ones, that choosing yourself is selfish, you are not broken for feeling uneasy when you begin to change. That unease is not proof that you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're doing something different. And different takes tenderness. This isn't about flipping a switch or becoming unapologetically self-loving overnight. It's about practicing tiny sacred moments of self-inclusion, reminding your nervous system that you're allowed to be a part of your own life again. So here are a few quiet ways to begin. 1. Notice your shoulds. Pay attention to the inner dialogue that starts with, I should be doing, I shouldn't need, I should just say yes. These words are often flags, markers that you're about to override yourself. Instead of immediately obeying that should, pause. Ask gently, is this coming from love or fear? Is this about honoring others or abandoning myself? Let the question be a door, not a judgment. 2. Redefine what selfish means to you. Make a list, not of what others taught you, but of what you believe. Ask yourself, what do I think being selfish means? Who taught me that? Is that definition still true for me? Then rewrite it. Let selfish become sacred. Let it mean I include myself in my care. Let it mean I'm one of the people I tend to. That's not cruelty. That's balance. 3. Start with one unapologetic yes. Choose one thing this week that's just for you. Not because it's productive. Not because it serves someone else. Just because it fills your spirit. It could be taking the longer scenic route home. Buying the good coffee. Saying no to something and doing nothing instead. Revisiting a hobby you put away years ago. Sleeping in without guilt. Let that yes be full. Let it be yours. Let it be enough. 4. Let others disapprove. Gently, bravely. One of the hardest parts of healing the fear of being selfish is letting people misunderstand you. Not everyone will applaud your rest. Not everyone will understand your boundaries. Some may even call you selfish. Let them. You don't have to defend your healing to people who still committed to your harm, even if that harm came dressed in care. You can simply say, "This is what I need right now." That's it. No justification required. And if they truly love you, they'll learn how to love this version of you too. 5. Create a new inner voice. That critical hunting voice inside, the one that says you're selfish or you don't deserve this, isn't yours. It's an echo. So begin replacing it one moment at a time. Each time you do something kind for yourself, say softly, "This is allowed. This is loving. I am safe to choose me. I do not need to earn my own care." Speak to yourself like someone you trust. Over time, your nervous system will start to believe you. 6. Practice rituals of reclamation. Sometimes words aren't enough, so find a small physical ritual that helps your body understand you belong to yourself. Light a candle for no reason at all. Put on something that makes you feel beautiful, even if no one sees you. Cook a meal just for you. Touch your own heart and whisper, "I see you." These are not luxuries, they are lifelines. They're how we unlearn a lifetime of self-neglect. This work is slow. It can be clumsy and tender and strange at first. But with each choice you make, each breath you claim, each no you honor, each yes you whisper, you create a world where you are no longer hunted by guilt. You become the sacred center of your own life. Not selfish, just whole. And that is the most generous thing you can be. Wherever you are right now, find stillness. If you're sitting, soften your spine. Let your shoulders fall just a little heavier. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands rest gently without needing to hold anything. If you're standing or walking, slow your pace. Breathe more deeply into your belly. Let the air feel like warm silk in your chest. And when you're ready, close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. Let this be your moment. No one else's, not a performance, not a gift, not a duty, just yours. Now imagine this. You're standing at the threshold of a quiet house. It's dusk. The sky is honey-colored and fading. Leaves more gently in the wind, whispering nothing urgent. The house is familiar. You've been here before, in dreams, in memory, in moments of hesitation. This is the house of your care, where you've spent years tending to others, where you've whispered encouragements, offered comfort, held space, cleaned up, held on. But today the door is closed. And in your hand, for the first time, is a key. It's warm, not from fire, but from something older, something true. You place the key in the lock. The door opens with a long breath as if the house had been waiting for you. You step inside. The air is cool, not cold, just honest. The kind of cool that asks nothing from you. You look around. This place remembers everything, but it no longer demands it. You walk slowly through the halls and notice on the walls where old portraits once watched you are now empty frames waiting for new stories. On the floor where others once left their weight, there is space for your own footprints. In the kitchen, a cup already sits on the counter, not waiting to be filled for someone else, but for you. You light a candle. This time it stays lit. No flicker of protest, no gust of guilt. Just a flame. Quiet, steady, yours. You sit, and for the first time in a long time, you feel the house settled around you. Not with expectation, but with peace. Now place your hand on your chest, right over your heart. Feel it, not just beating, but belonging. Say softly aloud in your mind, I am allowed to choose myself. I am not selfish for being sacred. I am not guilty for being whole. I do not need to earn my own care. Say it again and again if it trembles. Say it like a lullaby. Say it like you're returning, because you are. You are returning to the center of your own life. You are no longer hunted by the echo of what you owe. You are no longer living only in service to everyone else's hunger. You are no longer the house that feeds on its keeper. You are the keeper of your light, the guardian of your joy, the sacred witness of your own becoming. Let that be enough. Let that be more than enough. When you're ready, begin to come back. Wiggle your fingers, take one deeper breath, and open your eyes. The world is still here, but you are different now. You've remembered something important. You do not have to disappear to be good. You do not have to be small to be kind. You do not have to be everything to everyone else to be worthy. You are allowed to love yourself without guilt. And in that love, you're free. As we close today's story, we're also closing our Self-Love Fear series for October. A quiet collection of stories and reflection meant to help you name, face, and gently soften some of the fears that often hide inside a relationship with self-love. This month, we explored 4 different fears. The fear of taking up space, the fear of not being enough, the fear of starting, and tonight the fear of being selfish. If you felt any of these fears, know that you're not alone. You're human. You've been shaped by systems, stories, and scars, but you're also healing. You're remembering that love, real love, includes you too. If there's anything I'd like for you to take away from this episode, it's that self-love is not selfish. It's sacred. You do not need to earn rest. You do not have to justify joy. You do not need to disappear in order to belong. You are allowed to tend to yourself. You are allowed to keep something for you. And you are allowed to be whole, not just helpful. Thank you for tuning in to this entire series. Thank you for being brave enough to look inward, to sit with your fear, and to keep choosing softness over shame. And as this Halloween draws its veil, may you leave behind the masks that were never yours to wear, and step gently into the light of who you've always been becoming. Follow Moonlight and Moments wherever you listen, and share it with someone who might need a little light today. Until next time, and as always, love yourself better than yesterday.
I spend my years behind the door, pouring tea, giving more. I lit the fire but felt the cold, and wore a smile I didn't own. They called it love, they called it grace, to always give, to leave no trace. But I have hands, I have a name, and I'm not playing that old game. I'm not selfish for coming home, for dancing here, for being known. I kept the light beneath the dust, now I hold it up, and that's enough. Let them say what they will say, I'm choosing me. I'm not afraid. The house is quiet but I sing, I make the space for the softer things. A velvet ribbon in my hair, a breath that says I'm really here. This life is mine to tend and grow, to give from fullness, not from woe. I don't owe pain to prove my care. I deserve joy just standing there. I'm not selfish for coming home, for dancing here, for being known. I kept the light beneath the dust, now I hold it up, and that's enough. Let them say what they will say, I'm choosing me. Every no I used to fear now becomes a door to clear. Every yes I say for me becomes a new way to be free. I'm not selfish, I am whole. This is love, this is soul. I kept a light they couldn't see, now I shine it back on me. Let them say what they will say, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing me. And